Okay, now that you can tell. Now see how violently it's moving? Now you can go right on top of it and you'll see none of the leaves around it are moving at all.
Does that put you in the mood?
Yeah.
That is really wild.
Yep. And that's the real deal, folks. You can get closer if you want to. I'm not pushing any button here.
The spirit palm.
It has something to do with
You sure that thing isn't wired up when...
Yeah, well, I did.
There is no wind. As you can see, nothing else is moving.
It's safety. I have a steel shield and a pan and a lock. Okay. In the 18th century, we've all heard the saying lock, stock, and barrel. It comes from the 18th century, meaning lock, stock, and barrel is sent to you and you assemble your weapon. And this one literally has two different parts. This is a Dutch weapon, and I put an English lock on it because the English locks are just better. And so that's why it looks a little different than the rest of it. And of course, it's mostly made of brass because salt air, salt water rusts things very quickly. Brass holds off that a little better, and it's brass. Very common, so if it tears up your weapon, you just get another barrel. All right, so my pan here, and I already fired this a couple of times ago. I poured it in the British infantry, or in the British military. You had to have 2 legs with feet, 2 arms with hands, and 2 front teeth. Because in the line, you had, when you're doing your drills, you had to tear the cartridge with your teeth. You couldn't do it with your hand because that would break the line. And if anybody was uniformed in the 18th century, it was certainly the British. So you had to have those front 2 teeth. You didn't want to get shanghaied or put into the military. You just knock your front 2 teeth out and you'll walk right by you.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to, once I tear this, I'm going to pour it into the pan. I'm going to close the pan, pull my lock back. Now this has a piece of flint on the end of it. When flint hits steel, it makes a spark. It ignites the pan powder, which is going to give us a small poof. And there's a little hole in here which you won't be able to see. That explosion goes in the barrel where I put everything else, and anything in this barrel is coming out. I can shoot a fork out of it, I can shoot a rock out of it, doesn't matter what it is, it's coming out. And you'll see, I'll get about 1.5 foot of fire coming out of this thing too. It's kind of hard to see in the daylight, but it's amazing what it can do. All right, if we're ready, I'll move up forward. I wouldn't come any closer because, I mean, there are dangers here, and mostly to me. So I'll tear my cartridge. Normally in the military you throw it on the ground, but since I have to clean all this up, I don't do that. Pour a little in the pan. And I'm sure we have also heard the old saying, flash in a pan? That's where this comes from.
What about the saying, don't go off half-cocked?
That's
Is that from this?
When I half-cock it, it's like the safety of the weapon. Okay, right now it's half-cocked. It cannot fire. When I pull this back, then it's ready to fire. If you're in the battle and you're half-cocked, you're not going to get a shot off. And that's where that saying's from. Flash in the pan means the pan explodes, but none of it got in the little hole, so it's just a little poof. So it's not much, look pretty, but that's about all it was. Thus your flash in the pan. Get the rest of it, pour it in the barrel with ball and paper. I'm not going to put the paper in there because, like I said, I have to clean it up. Now I'm ready to fire. All I do now, go to full cock, and all I have to do now is pull the trigger. 3, 2, 1. All right, I got no flash or anything that time. Well, by the way, that's very common. The wind and humidity here, of course, any dampness at all, black powder won't work. But I didn't get a good spark.
I think I saw some falling out from the wind while you were touching it.
It probably could have. I still got enough to matter, I believe. Let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. No. Are y'all seeing a spark? No. kind of disturbed. Alright, I'm gonna.
The enemy's advancing.
Of course, I don't have my tools. If it doesn't work this time, I'm gonna have to put a little more powder.
Oh, wow. That was